Our 30-minute slot. This is just the warm up time for us to, run through the brick wall and engage with each other this morning. We have Nakia Porter. He's our talent attraction and career partner. He'll be speaking about loans this morning and how to take care of, your money and how to think with the end in mind. We have some great action items this morning. If you haven't already, go to Young Black and in Business, join ybnb.com. You'll be able to see what we're doing, how we're doing it, so you can get connected and get involved. We have an exciting year coming up. We have a community partnership with the San Diego Padres. We have Young Black and in Business Day. We, we're even going to have a webinar because we're bringing something special here to San Diego, a world attraction. So you want to get in on that. Details are coming up soon. And we're also going to have our annual gala this year at Saquon Casino on Sunday, December 4th, where we're going to refer and recognize all of our members. So membership has its value. You get discounted admissions to our galas. You get an annual subscription of our Young Black in the Business manuscript. We do 4 issues a year. You get to be in our professional listing on our Young Black in Business directory. You get to possibly be on our podcast, Knowledge to Currency, which we will be discussing later on with our guest speaker, Nakia Porter. You'll have the opportunity to speak on our Fortune 500 Friday calls. And most importantly, you'll get to be with the connected. As an entrepreneur, you are not alone. You also, as a small business partner, you get to have your logo on the back of our souvenir jersey. So what we're doing here in April, we'll see how the MLB lockout goes. However, the beat goes on. We're working with the Padres to be able to recognize and highlight African American players present and in the past, and definitely in the future. So we're working with the coaches at Lincoln High School, Morris High School, and San Diego High School to be able to recognize their baseball teams at Petco Park. So you definitely want to get involved with that. We have suites, we have tickets, and every time Young Black in the Business meets, it's a photo shoot. It's a photo shoot every time we meet. This past this past Saturday, we had our manuscript release party, and we had our IMAX movie night in the Science Fleet Museum. It was amazing. Even the movie Uncharted, the number 1 movie in the world, was awesome seeing it on the IMAX screen. We were able to, rub elbows, refer our network to funding sources, be able to connect individuals to other individuals in their same bird tribe. So what does that mean? Connecting individuals to your same bird tribe, individuals that are on the same wavelength, that are the same frequency as you in your business. You may be an early entrepreneur, so you may just need the basics, foundation. You may be more of an established entrepreneur, so getting you connected with individuals that are established, that actually have establishments, and are actually making power moves. Or you may be a senior working at giving back. So yes, we like to refer you to individuals where you can have that executive exchange, that sharing of thoughts, and we're using that content in our manuscript. And we like to highlight that because it's all about referring and recognizing here. Young Black in the Business 2022, it's all about you. So look, we like to start on time and we like to end on time. So we have 2 minutes. So again, Young Black in Business has its benefits. So go to join, that's joinybnb.com, and become an individual level subscriber or a small business member because membership has its benefits. We have Nakia Porter, who's going to be our guest speaker later on in our agenda. We're going to have an update for housing by Brittany Miller. She's gonna give us an update on the things we need to know for home ownership. And the call to action today, if you haven't already, visit our website, joinybnb.com, and become an individual level subscriber or a small business member. So I'll go silent for a couple of moments, a couple of seconds, and at 7 o'clock sharp, get excited and stay excited because this is Fortune 500 Friday with Young Black in Business on Friday, March the 4th. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to our Fortune 500 Friday, March the 4th. I am the president and CEO of Young Black in Business. My name is Roosevelt Williams III, and I'm excited and privileged to be connected and affiliated with so many early emerging entrepreneurs in San Diego and across the nation. These bi-weekly Fortune 500 Friday calls are intended to provide instructional, educational, and entrepreneurial content. The word of the day is auspicious. Auspicious is the word for the day. And auspicious means promising. Okay, promising. We're living in promising times. There's a lot of opportunity. Black is big business in the world right now. Since we're young, black and in business, let's get excited and let's take advantage of this auspicious day. Okay, this Fortune 500 Friday, March the 4th. So, with that being said, I'd like to be able to share a brief message with our Chief Marketing Officer, Brittany Miller. Brittany, can you please give us an update?
Yes, good morning. Good morning. I just want to thank everyone who's inside the Zoom, who's watching us on Facebook, and who's been supporting us. Young Black and in Business is excited to help its network prepare, qualify for capital to build their legacy through home ownership. So I think everyone can kind of see how we're pulling in these new partners that are experts in these fields. So I'm also the intake coordinator at the Urban League of San Diego County. So all of those applications that are being submitted for the $40,000 additional grant towards down payments and closing costs, that's with the Urban League of San Diego County, LISC San Diego, and the San Diego Foundation. Me and my counterpart, Jacqueline LaQuindinum, who's also a licensed real estate agent, are at the forefront of that program. So we've been able to close about 15 homes so far, which means we were able to place 15 Black families in their first home purchase, and have, with this, there's over, I think, about $2 million that have been generated just from these home sales. So it's all great timing that we have Nakia on the line. Nakia has been working with Jacqueline as well. And when you're dealing with real estate, there's, the residential, there's commercial, there's certain requirements, but even us as a business, we have our brick by brick campaign. So we're also interested in kind of stepping in the game. So, with that being said, the applications for the first time home buyer program are still available. If you have questions about the intake process, you can reach out to myself, Brittany Antoinette Miller, or Jacqueline LaQuindinum. And that's all I've got for now. So I'll go ahead and throw it back.
Thank you, Brittany. It's very auspicious that we got Nakia Porter on the line today because he's a lender and he can also give us resources to access funding. So today's guest speaker is Nakia Porter. He's a talent attraction and career partner of Young Black in the Business. So stay on the line for that. Before we go into his presentation, we want to let you all know to save the date for Friday, April 15th, because we're working with the San Diego Padres for African American Heritage Night. You can purchase tickets on our website, joinybnb.com. We're also going to celebrate Jackie Robinson and have a memorabilia hat. If you become a small business partner in the month of March, you get to have your logo in the back of our souvenir jersey. The jerseys will be given to Lincoln High School, Morris High School, and San Diego High School baseball players. So you'll be having a walking billboard. We're also partnering with Tony Gwynn Jr., who has also sponsored 75 tickets to those baseball players. So get excited and stay excited. At this time, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker for today, Nakia Porter. He's a talent attraction and career partner, and he's going to share with us about mortgage loans and how to think with the end in mind. Nakia?
Thanks for the introduction. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Good morning, everyone. As you said, my name is Nakia Porter. A little history about me. I've done or been in real estate probably over 25 years. Worked at Fortune 50 companies in mortgage. And I want people to kind of think a different way if they're looking to buy their first house or just purchasing a house. I want to try to share my screen with you guys. So hold on one second while I do that. Okay, so I want to talk about the conforming limits of. All right, can you see Can you see my screen right now where it talks about the conforming limits of 2021?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So nationally, the conforming limits of 2021 are $548,250. But in California, because of the housing shortages and because of how much it costs, the limits are actually higher. In California, that number is currently in San Diego. Hold up a second. Depending on the county you live in, those limits are different. So like if you look at Alpine, that's 647, 200. If you look actually in San Diego, that number is 879, 750. And that's a big number to think about for purchasing your first home. But what I would recommend if you were a first-time home buyer, instead of buying a single family home, look into a duplex, triplex, or fourplex. The down payment requirement is the same if you live in one of the units, but then if you actually are collecting rents, it could actually make your payment a lot cheaper and you still accomplish the same thing, a home ownership. And then as you continue to make your payments, then you could use that leverage to try to buy that, forever home that you want. And then you'll start out with an investment right off the rip. So then you actually make more money living in the property. Because if you look at average rents right now, let me show you. I just Googled, rent prices in San Diego, and it's just all around. Most rents are anywhere from 3,600, 3,400, 3,000, 2,000, 1,825. So depending on where you desire to live, your rent's going to fluctuate. Like if you want to live in Coronado, it's like $4,000 a month. So if you go to thrive.com, and I did a scenario that I built up on Thrive, show you the difference. And just let me know if you can't see my screen because I'm trying to show you actual numbers. Let me see. Need to drag this over. Okay, so I did a scenario. So if we took the property value, like we said, 879, 750, you put down 3.5%. If you add in taxes, insurance, your payment could be around $45.57 a month. But if you say in your average rents are anywhere from $2,200 to $3,000 a month, let's just be conservative and say $2,500 a month. So we're saying that new payment is $45.57, subtract $2,500. You could get this actual multifamily unit to be $2,000 a month. And with the help of Brittany, so they're saying your down payment on the house that much would be $57,183.75. They give you $40,000 to put down, then you only have to come up with roughly $17,000 plus your closing costs. But here's the benefit. If you get a multifamily, let me see, multifamily for sale, San Diego. I found a few of them. Okay, so let's use this one as an example. This house is $800,000. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 829 square feet. So here's the power of buying a multifamily. You'd have an actual house that actually is gaining you income right off the rip. And this isn't your forever house because most houses that you buy are starter homes either way. So you purchase this property as an example, you rent out the other unit, you actually gain equity. It's a cash flowing asset that you buy from the beginning. And then you set yourself a goal. I want to live here 6 months. I want to live here a year. You continue to collect the rents and continue to gain more equity. And then you just repeat the process again. Depending on where you purchase, you can actually even be a first-time home buyer again. But you can't purchase like in the same neighborhood or, it'll have to be a distance away. But this is a way that a powerful way that you can gain equity very rapidly by doing this. As far as the interest rates, I'm using an example of 5% because interest rates vary based on credit. But obviously rates are way lower than that. But because I'm not sure what the person's credit score is going to be, I'm not gonna, make up a rate of like 2.5 or something like that. Because when you apply, the things they look at your income, they look at your credit history and how much money you put down and the type of property that you're going to purchase. Those are things that all will affect your interest rate. As far as, does anyone have any questions? Let's probably start with that. Either you, Roosevelt, or Brittany, you have any questions about what we're talking about?
I don't have questions, but I definitely wanted just to hop in because you're talking about, investing into multifamily. And on the intake side, from the Urban League of San Diego County, we provide a lot of counseling before they meet the lender, right? So before they get to you, we help them understand what the whole process is. And just kind of the feedback I can give right now in the market is we all understand that it's really, really competitive. Like, for example, I think FHA just lowered their credit score to 580. But because we're in San Diego County, on average, the credit scores for people who are competing in the market, I would say, are in the upwards of 700.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If it were me and you came to me with a 580, I know that you want to buy now and everybody's saying you have to buy right away. In my opinion, it'd be better for us to do some type of credit counseling and get your credit score up, so that for a couple of different reasons, you'll get a better interest rate on the loan. It could make it where you put a less of a down payment. So then you can actually not have to save as much money to put down. Sometimes it depends on the circumstances. If there's a deal that comes around that you can get and your credit score is, in the 5s or 6s, you move forward and get the loan. And then you work on your credit later and you can refinance. But in my, humble opinion, I'd recommend we put you in some type of credit service to help you pick your credit score up within 30 to 60 days, and then look at trying to move forward at that point. But everybody, you can't make anyone do anything, but I just would suggest to do it that way just because you'll get better benefits in the long run.
And I also want to underscore what you're saying about purchasing a multifamily. Our most strategic buyers are not buying the picket fence dream home. They are investing in a multifamily, or they're investing in an area that they know is going to earn equity over the long run because it's improving. And that's even, when I'm talking to them, because we're in San Diego, this is only specific to San Diego. It's
Correct.
not about necessarily your dream home. It's your dream strategy.
Correct. Yeah, because the market in San Diego is going up every year. And people may not know that we have the second most military presence in the country. First would be Los Angeles. Second would be San Diego. So that's one of the reasons that the housing market is so healthy, because you have a lot of people that move here, they're in the service, and they may leave, but they keep their property. So a lot of times you don't see a lot of properties stay on the market very long. On top of that, you have people that want to live here and people moving here every day. For every person that leaves California, you have new people coming into California, including myself. I'm not from California. So it's a great place to set roots, invest in, depending on where you want to live. If you want to live closer to the 5 or, further east, the property values can change, or if you want to, be up by Temecula as well. Any other questions you may have?
I also wanted to see, I think I heard somewhere that on average right now, people have between $150,000 to $300,000 in equity in their home. Is that
Yes,
something
ma'am.
you've heard?
Yes, ma'am. So that's another thing that people can do as well. As far as tapping into the equity of your home, if you refinance a home that you own, um, compared to like selling a home that you own, you have a thing called capital gains that you have to pay anytime you sell real estate. So let's say, for instance, you were to buy a house, 5 years ago, and you paid 500,000 for it, and now you're thinking of buying another piece of real estate. If you were to sell that home and you come away with that 300,000 in equity, that's called a capital gains. So you could do a thing called a 20 or 1031 exchange, and you basically pay to defer that gain until a later date. But then in the next 30 to 60 days, you have to identify a new property that you're going to put that money into if you were to upgrade, so to speak. But if you refinance, like let's say you took out $150,000 in a refinance, that's not taxable income. So you could take out that $150,000 and put that on a multifamily, or put that on a single family, or another investment property, and you don't have to pay taxes on that money because it's not considered income, because you're borrowing from an asset to get the money. You're not selling the asset to get the money. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, thank you.
So that's definitely I guess you would say a technique that a lot of people aren't aware of. Some people, like let's say they were stationed here, if they were military in San Diego, and then they get orders to go somewhere else. With the VA loan as an example, now you can have more than one VA loan at once. In the last 2 years, they've changed, probably because of COVID, where if I were previous to this new rule, if I were to have a VA loan, I'm stationed in San Diego, and then I decide, or I'm not, I don't decide, the government decides to move me to North Carolina. Previously, I would have to sell my house in San Diego to use my VA eligibility in North Carolina. But now with the new rules in place, I can actually keep my home in San Diego. I can rent it out, and then I get my full eligibility on another location. And if I get ordered to move again, I get to keep my eligibility. So I could have 3 VA loans as long as I'm ordered to move. And that's powerful too, because with the VA loan, you wouldn't need to put down a down payment at all, because they could do 100% financing, and all they're required to pay is their closing costs, and if there's a VA funding fee if they're not disabled. But if they get any VA disability, that funding fee is waived. And then they could buy this same scenario that I'm doing at 100% financing and just pay the closing costs.
Okay, and I just see Jacqueline hopped on, so I want to see if she has any insight
Question?
or yes, because I'm actually training under Jacqueline with the
Okay.
Urban League of San Diego County, and she's mentoring me as well in real estate. So I just kind of want
Okay.
to give her a quick 2 seconds. Jacqueline?
Good morning, everyone. Sorry I was a little late. The rain was kind of making it really peaceful to wake up.
Good morning, Jacqueline.
Good morning, Nakia. How are you?
I'm fantastic. We're kind of talking about first-time home buyers looking at buying multifamily properties as a strategy to come in the game with an investment bigger than just a home, that it can actually be cash flowing for them and help them buy more real estate, and to lower their monthly payment every month.
Absolutely. I definitely want to interject in first before I speak, want to disclaim that everything that we talk on this call is purely for informational purposes. And if you do decide to proceed on doing any type of home buyer programs, proceed with caution. Always hire a professional and make sure that you at least vet 3 different sources before you proceed. It's a really big transaction. But as in terms of multi-financing, the other thing you want to consider is as a as a great approach to your first asset is that if you're buying multi-unit and you intend to own or occupy, the other 2 or 3 units can be used towards increasing your purchasing power.
Hmm.
So that can really leverage the affordability of the mortgage, as well as offsetting the upfront costs.
Hmm. Correct. Yeah. So if she, like what she's saying, if you bought a 3 family and you lived in one of those units, and let's just say you rented the other 2 units for $2,500, then that's basically $5,000 a month. So if the scenario is your payment is $4,557.39, then basically you're living in San Diego rent free, or mortgage free, I guess you would say. And then you can leverage that money to save up to buy another one. And then that's how people create wealth.
Absolutely.
And remember, like a lot of times people will get into the aesthetics and be like, oh, it doesn't have this, it doesn't look this certain way. But you want to have an actual goal in mind of, okay, eventually, like if it's your 5-year plan, I want to have, 4 multifamilies so that I'm getting income from each of those units. And the goal is to, get my big mansion in La Jolla, whatever it is. But you have to know what that number is, how much it's going to cost for that payment, and how to get other people to pay these mortgages for you to leverage that purchasing power. And it's just really, really powerful to do that.
Yes, that cliche location, location, location phrase is basically saying what is an equitable asset. And so, like you're saying, don't worry about the aesthetics of it, worry about the data in the given area. So, like in the pandemic with San Diego, homes appreciated over 20% in the last 2 years,
Hmm.
which is good because well, it's good for the homeowners because if you bought a home in 2019 and it was worth 450,000, now everyone is fighting tooth and claw because of the low supply and the high demand. Your house is now worth 700,000 and you just made yourself 300,000 just by paying your mortgage on time, um, maybe even doing a refinance if at before your rate was 4.25. I've seen a refinance as low as 1.9, which
Hmm.
means it was very cheap to borrow or refinance money during the market being down. But that is something you cannot do as a renter. So leveraging your equity and the economic events impacting how you're building wealth, basically.
Correct. And all you're doing is living in the house and making the
Mm-hmm.
payments as you normally would. But the difference is you have other people helping you make that payment, which helps, lower your costs. If you want to create wealth, if you can lower what you have to pay for every day, that's the quickest way to become wealthy. And if you get to the point where you have a way to leverage someone to make the mortgage payment, if your car payment, or any of those things, I mean, that's how you can start to stack money very quickly.
Yes, and in terms of multi-unit financing, besides, maybe you might not be able to afford a 750,000 to $1 million mortgage, but if you're on the call and you're already in a property, maybe considering building an ADU, accessory dwelling unit. You can have it detached or attached up to the square footage of your home. That could also be an easy way to offset the cost of your current mortgage. Let's say someone lost their job during COVID, but there's so much equity in your home, and you have a 7,000 foot square foot lot. Sorry. Um, and the possibilities are endless as a homeowner. That's really it's real life monopoly out here.
Yeah, and then on the ADUs, like they don't have to be any bigger than 700 or actually I think it's 550 square feet. And as far as the um, builder or construction company, they can build it on top of your garage or they could put them in the backyard. Um, they don't require parking. So if you build these units in the back, whoever is renting them from you, they could just go through the back or the side of your backyard. And you don't even have to see them or talk to them. The units have a kitchen, they have a bathroom. It's just like a little mini house.
Yeah, with the rising price of rents, you can rent that thing out for you could maybe 2,000. You never know,
Yeah,
depending on the
depending on
area.
where you live. Absolutely. Yeah,
Hmm.
because I mean, I don't think anywhere you can live, you rents under $2,000 anywhere by the five.
Absolutely. And I met someone who their grandfather owned like a gang of lots in Lemon Grove, and the houses in Lemon Grove are going upwards of 850,000 as well. So
Yep.
if you're on the call and you have a 8,000 square foot, you know, property, just think about it.
Yeah.
Quick question, Nakia and Jacqueline. Thank you very much for sharing this information. We had a question come in. Where do you
Okay.
find the guidelines for ADUs, guidelines and compliance, and how to be compliant?
That's on the county website. I can put it in the chat.
Yes, that'd be awesome. And Nakia, can you please provide us with, in conclusion, provide us with some instructional, what can we do today to get in mode, transformation mode?
You mean to look into purchasing?
Correct. What can we do
Um,
right now, right off the call? Yes, sir.
yeah, so like let's say for instance, I was a person that was thinking of purchasing my first home. Think about how much you pay in total expenses now and start putting yourself in a position of discipline to think about, okay, if I were to buy a house, how much do I want to pay per month? And then even though let's say your rent now is 1,500 a month, but you say, okay, if I were to budget, I could actually afford $2,000 or 2,500 a month. Start doing that without the house payment and just see how it feels to make that savings every single month. And then start thinking about where you want to purchase, how much it costs, because in San Diego, it's not really an issue of the money of how much the purchase price is. It's about finding the property because the real estate inventory is so low. So if you actually rent a house now, you may want to talk to the person that owns that property, and they may be a tired landlord and just they have a bunch of properties and some people aren't paying rent, but you are paying rent, and just go to them and say, hey, is there any possibility I could buy this place from you? And just see what they say. Because a lot of times those individuals, they may no longer want to rent anymore and they're ready to move on to the next level of their life. And you could find opportunities that a lot of people like a realtor like Jacqueline or myself may not know that person, but you've paid rent to them for 5 years on time, never missed a payment. So they would look at you and say, okay, sometimes when you're older, you look at a younger person, you want to give them an opportunity to, experience the good life. But if you don't ask that person, you'll never get that opportunity.
Oh, that was definitely right on time. That was right on time. Very auspicious. Very timing. Timing. Well, I want to thank you, Mr. Porter, for joining us.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
definitely have you back. We like to start on time, we like to end on time. So for the last 45 seconds, I want to just have everybody a call to action. Visit join.ybnb.com. If you haven't already, become an individual level subscriber or a small business member. Benefits include discounted admission to our Young Black in the Business Black and Gold Gala, our events, our annual manuscript. We have 4 issues coming out this year. You'll get to be in our Young Black in Business online directory, so you'll have the direct access to Nakia Porter, Jacqueline LaQuindem, Brittany Miller, myself, and some other professional coaches that we have. You also have access to be on our podcast with Nakia and I, Knowledge to Currency, and most importantly, you'll get to be connected to the wealthy and well-connected to influencers here in San Diego. Our fundamental premise is we can refer you to funding sources and the opportunities, and we also want to recognize you, put you on the front cover of our manuscript, centerfold. We want to be able to highlight you and share our platform with you and have you speak on our Fortune 500 calls like Mr. Porter did this morning. With no further ado, I want to thank our Chief Marketing Officer, Brittany Miller, and I want to thank all of our executive coaches. We'll see you again on Friday, March the 18th. We have a presentation from a Young Black in the Business member, Kia Raquel. She's the founder and managing director of Champion Instructors. So our next call will be Friday, March 18th at 7 a.m. Make it a great day, because today is very promising. Thank you very much, everybody. Happy Friday.
Thanks for having me. I hope you guys have a great day.
Yes, sir.
All right, everyone. Live stream is over. I'm ending this webinar. Have a great day.